Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And yes, you can see the old fridge magnets are back on the tarot table, except for the letter L, which I suspect is under the fridge, and we are going to have to go on a rescue mission to find it. Apparently I need to stake my claim again. So here it is, MadWorldTarot, writ large across the tarot table, or Mad Word Tarot might be even more apt at this point. We're going to, well, first of all, let me say Happy Mother's Day to those of you who celebrated yesterday. I took a day off from the Mad World. Well, Mad World here. Fluffy has only just emerged from the undergrowth. If there's something Fluffy likes less than Jack Russell's, it's small children. So she's finally emerged. Well, she did emerge every now and then and to make very loud complaints, and then back into the garden, having made sure that I felt terribly guilty. But she is now back in her spot out on the veranda, and all is quiet, and the fridge magnets are off the fridge and on the tarot table, and we are back reading about the royals with today just the Apprentice Tarot for this reading. And I'm looking at the display that was put on for our delectation by the two little lovebirds at the Beyonce concert over the weekend, and I'm looking at it because the body language expert, and I use that term loosely, Judy James, has been telling the Mirror that Meghan Markle is sending a bold message to the world about the state for her marriage, with all this clinging and kissing and cuddling and clutching. Judy James calls it a tidal wave of tactile gush. And because I found that such a delicious expression, this is why we are looking at the state of the Parkle marriage in this reading, the tidal wave of tactile gush. The has-been was, according to James, beaming and happy to be on the receiving end of all this non-verbal love bombing from Meghan Markle. There he was, of course, in that ridiculous cowboy hat, which was inscribed inside, Archie, Lily, my love. Never, of course, uses his name. And, well, I want to know if the love bombing was really working, or whether the has-been was just bombed, because in my inexpert opinion, he looked off his face. So I was trying to dodge all of that when he was going ringing doorbells in London, but other people were, of course, saying that he might have ditched his security to go and find some, sniff, as Lady C would say. But we're not looking at that now. We're going to do a Celtic cross. We're going to look at the state of the Parkle union. They might be clinging desperately to each other. You know, the Titanic has gone down, and there they are in icy seas, clinging to each other, waiting, hoping for rescue. Possible. So we're going to see Celtic cross from both their point of view. What is going on? How bombed was he or she? We don't care about. And we're going to see the state of the marriage, the view of the marriage, pressure they're under. Oh, that was the Ace of Cups. Yeah. This is the love bombing. It's shown up. And, of course, desperate measures. It was sickening to see. I could only take a little bit of it before I had to, eat some sauerkraut, shall we say. And, I think I've said what I need to say. I'm going to warm these cards up. And, I have to say that this is just tarot. And it's for fun and entertainment, and it's all my opinion and all speculation and just energy that I read here. And, of course, there is a disclaimer in the box below. So let's see what's going on with the Parkles there. Great performance. They made sure that it was recorded. You could see glances to make sure that the mobile phone was recording the moment so that it could be loaded on Instagram to convince us all that this is the happiest couple ever. Let's see what the Apprentice Tarot want to tell us, oh, Four of Cups in reverse. That's a bit of a love bombing energy, I have to say. Because upright, we've got taking things for granted, falling into a rut, as you can when you've been married for 7 years. She tells us all that she's in the honeymoon phase of the relationship now. She told that to that strange friend of hers, Jamie Kern Lima. Such an odd name. I have struggled to remember the right sequence. It could be Kern, Jamie, Lima, Lima, Kern, Jamie. I don't know. Four of Cups, there you go, falling into a rut. And the reverse, ready for something new. For me, the Four of Cups in reverse is, okay, let's give it another whirl. We'll try again. We'll try and be more enthusiastic this time with feeling. How about that? It's an expression that I often use with the singing that I do when there's been lots of shout singing to learn notes. And then actually it's a beautiful piece of music, and let's actually sing it properly this time with feeling. There we have it. So how are the Parkles doing in the marriage right now? Situation. Oops, don't you move, you card, you. Oh, we've got the old Knight of Pentacles. Steady progress, hard work, sticking to the plan. I think that's quite apt. It's Harry's card. Sticking to the plan. I often get the sense that there was a plan, there was a deal, there was a time frame, there was possibly even some sort of agreement, contract, something like that, if not actually signed on the dotted line, some sort of arrangement. That was at the heart of all the strangeness we see and have seen for the past many years. But there he is. This is the steady progress. When you've got nothing else, I guess you've got to stick to the plan. You might have tried to rush back to the bosom of his family last year. He certainly gave that a bit of a try, and then of course she's given her stuff a bit of a try this year, trying to launch herself as a billionaire, but they both failed. So I think they have to stick to their original plan, which was brand Parkle, and aren't we so in love, and we'll make our own separate royal court in California. There it is, Knight of Pentacles, the has-been, back in the saddle, back on the trajectory that he was supposed to be on before he got wrong ideas about, as I say, scampering back to the bosom of his family. So it looks like he's been loved bombed successfully back into submission. Let's see what the challenges are in this situation. Allegedly, the Fool in reverse. You can't step in the same river twice, can you? Fool in reverse. You can't fool me a second time round. It's a fresh start. And beginner energy, it's excitement, it's naivety, enthusiasm, being a bit gullible when it's upright. In reverse, you don't get a second chance. There's no second go round. You might have to stick to the plan, but there's no enthusiasm left for the project. You don't get that do-over that this Four of Cups in reverse indicates. It's not possible. Nobody's that gullible. Nobody's that stupid. If you do decide that you're going to go back into this mess of a marriage, my opinion, then you really are being thick. You really are being stupid. You really are taking a very, very stupid risk doing what you're doing, but you can't go back. You can't recreate all that magic, and all that magic is a very strong word for sort of an who cares kind of a vibe about them always. That was my feeling anyway about them. But no, there's no hope of reigniting this relationship. There's no hope of going back to where things were for them as the hot young couple, so in love 7 years or so ago. How bombed, let's say, was he, or were they also, but was he looked, as I say, in my inexpert opinion, off his face. What was going on there down in the depths? We got the Seven of Pentacles, and it's in reverse. Too much time and effort put in for meager results. Investment anxiety, poor planning. It's a bit of an odd card when you're talking about someone's mental capacity on a night out, or date night, as it was described by Megan, because it's the failure to, not the failure to launch, but the failure to land, really, because it's the investment card, it's the return on investment card, the harvest. the reaping what you sow kind of a card. And it's in reverse. This is somebody who's invested 7 years in this marriage. I would call it the 7-year itch. It's not giving me state of intoxication or anything like that. It's giving me somebody who's really wasted their time, invested in the wrong thing, and knows it. Maybe the only way to cope with that knowledge is to medicate yourself heavily with whatever substance you choose or prefer before you go out, knowing that you're going to have to be on display. You've got to wear that cowboy hat, you've got to look at the camera, you've got to try and do a little shimmy, a little jig, and try and look enthusiastic. You've got to kiss her when the camera is rolling. How bombed do you have to be to manage to do all of that when really and truly, this is the really and truly energy in a Celtic cross. What's really going on at the root of the whole scenario? You are looking at your life and thinking, I have wasted my life. The Fool in reverse, the Four of Cups in reverse. It's all telling me I've wasted my life, but I have to stick to this very faulty plan. Okay. Goal of all this display that we have all now unfortunately seen. Wow, we've got the Four of Swords. And it's recovery period. It's after a defeat, a loss. Taking time out to heal, to recover, to think. And clear your head, as it says, reflect. That is not what they are doing with this. It's almost like preventing that from happening. It's quite a weird message that I'm getting with this Four of Swords. Because, okay, it might be we've had a very bad few weeks, months, years. Let's go to the Beyonce concert. Let's hang out. Let's get off our faces. Let's have fun. It's possible. It's possible. That would be a time out. Take time out from the ruin, the decay, the mortification, the lost legal battles, the family that don't want to speak, the embarrassing photographs of ringing on doorbells and all this stuff. Mortification. Let's take some time out. But that's hideaway time out in the Four of Swords. This is very public. This to me is trying to gloss over all this humiliation and ruin that is apparent in the Four of Swords and in the rest of this tarot spread, quite honestly, my opinion, of course. To try and gloss over that. Don't take any notice of all the bad things that have been going on, because we're just having such a wonderful time. That's how I read what's going on. So let's look at the past. What's been going on with them? Recent past. Where have we been? Yeah, there we get it. The truth. The Sun in reverse, mildly depressed, it says. I would say extremely depressed. Forced optimism. That's what we've been seeing. Forced optimism. It vindicates the way I'm reading that Four of Swords, this card, the Sun in reverse. Overexposed. My goodness, they couldn't be more overexposed if they tried. And so there it is. That's what's been going on. They've been faking it. They've been showing up everywhere, all over the place, trying to prove something that they cannot prove. And really, behind the scenes, I think both are suffering from quite serious depression. That's how I am reading this energy. I'm reading on them together. I don't normally do that, but this one all the way through, I'm reading on it together. And it's interesting that Harry has shown up as the dutiful one who's back in the saddle, back on track, back doing what the plan was supposed to be all along. She's reeled him in. The fool that he is. So where are we heading near term? What's going to be going on with the Darling 2? Not good things. This is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Too materialistic, risky new venture. Fool in reverse. Health worries, financial worries, all of that. They are not, for all we've got the Knight of Pentacles at the heart of this reading, they are not going to be able to sustain this display. They're going to be hitting big financial worries. in the near term, deals that might fall through, Netflix for instance. So financial worries. It's also that Ace of Pentacles represents a long-term something, because you get the path through that arch and you're on this journey and you're heading towards a distant destination, but you're very sure about getting there. It's in reverse. They're not going to make it much longer, my opinion, with that Ace of Pentacles in reverse, possibly because the financial situation becomes too extreme in terms of difficulty. And we're going to look at the financial situation just a little bit in the next reading, just by the way. But this is not in it for the long haul. This is not a couple that's going to stay together 40, 50 years. Nope, not in my opinion. We might get a pretense of it, and there's enormous energy on this tarot table of pretense, despair beneath the surface, but that's a very telling card. So how do they view the marriage jointly? As a couple, what do they see when they think about them? Oh, wow. There he is again, the Hermit, introspection, solitude. That's Harry's energy, lonely card, essentially. Harry has shown up twice. She hasn't shown up in this reading except in the Sun card when she's dangling her children, exploiting her children, in my opinion, showing them to us endlessly on Instagram. We've just had it again on Mother's Day yesterday. Mother's Day in the United States, of course, not the UK. And there it is. Too much of the children, too much of everything. But he wants to withdraw. He wants to retreat. He needs advice about what to do in this situation. He is the one who really, and we've had it now with the Four of Swords. Now we've got the Hermit. We've got this Seven of Pentacles in reverse. We've got this Four of Cups in reverse. It's just this feeling of, I want to detach myself from this. I want to go away and hide. I want to get out of this, but I don't know how to. I'm in too deep right now, and I've got nowhere else to go. Where does the Hermit go? He's got to go within to find the answers. You can ring on all the doorbells in London. Your friends have left. They have gone. So, pressure for this lovely couple. The Star. They've got to stay optimistic, because how else do you survive the calamity that is their marriage and their circumstances at the moment? The Star is about optimism. It's about hope and faith, restoration and healing. It's very much healing. Again, that Four of Swords. Now we've got all this similar energy. They've got to portray themselves again as stars. Look, here we are at the Beyonce concert. Neil Sean claims that they were invited. She needed their star power because her life, of course, is not going that well at the moment for various reasons we're not going to go into here. But so she needed them to put on this show of, here I can still get royalty to come to my concerts and all this kind of stuff. So they have to put on this show and pretend that they're very happy together and that they really are celebrities. They are doing fantastically well, and they're healed and they're happy and healthy and all this stuff. But we can see what's really going on. Seven of Pentacles in reverse, Four of Swords, Four of Cups. Hopes and fears for the two. Oh, the Devil. That's fear. That is fear of being stuck together, bondage, materialism, unhealthy attachment, immoral, unethical. It's obsessive. It's chained together because of your vices, your depravity, those are very strong words, your addictions, your toxicity, your lies, whatever. That's in general. You can pick whatever suits for your opinion of how they're stuck together. It's got that love bombing, breadcrumbing kind of energy, the Devil, because there's something very tempting in the relationship. It's very unhealthy. This is what the energy of the card is telling me, and it's my opinion that I am expressing here. But in my opinion, it's a very unhealthy relationship but they're somehow chained to each other because there's something about it that's thrilling. Whether it's the substances that they consume, whether it's the S with the X, whether it's because they're in so deep with things that have been immoral, unethical, and we can talk about things that go bump or whatever. Could be to do with some of their charities, their financial dealings, you name it. You can find what you suspect might be behind that devil card. But it is this, we might just be stuck together forever. And in their saner moments, their more sober moments, their more rational moments, they're probably looking at each other and thinking, oh, really? I think both, because I'm reading both their energy together. So where are they headed? I haven't put a time frame on this. Just how's it going to unfold going forward for them? We've got exhausted and giving up. The 9 of Wands in reverse. Also a stubborn refusal to quit when you should give up. But for me, the 9 of Wands in reverse really is about just giving up. That is going to get so bad, it's going to get so difficult. It's also a mental health card for me because of the bandage around the head in the 9 of Wands, that they just are so battered, so bruised, so damaged as a brand, as a couple, within themselves, with their own personal issues that they have, whether they're mental health issues or addiction issues or financial issues or baggage from the past, whatever it is. They've sustained so many blows, they've failed at so many things that ultimately this relationship too is going to fail. They're going to collapse under the weight of it. They're just going to surrender. They're going to say, I give up. I can't do this anymore. It's not telling me which one is going to give up, but everything in this reading tells me that this cannot be sustained. Even though we've got this little 4 of Cups underneath in reverse saying, okay, I'll try and give it one more shot. And this Fool tells me in reverse, no, you can't. You can try as hard as you like, but it's not going to work. Ace of Pentacles in reverse, it's really not going to work. 9 of Wands in reverse, it's a waiting game to see who falls over first. And the kind of falling over that could happen with that 9 of Wands in reverse is some kind of mental breakdown, in my opinion. Or something that gets revealed that is just one blow too many, and one of them has to bail in order to save themselves, because there is an energy in this reading. I don't really see her. I see her over there. I see her maybe in the Star card. I see her in the Devil card, but mostly I see Harry. If anyone is going to give up and go back to the Hierophant who's been staring at me all this time, I think it's him. I think. But this is the situation. It's so volatile, that devil energy. It can change. It can turn on a dime, as they say, depending on, if you've ever been in a relationship like that, it's exhausting, because you just don't know what kind of a day you're going to get on any given day, what kind of a person you're going to be facing on any given day. That 9 of Wands in reverse tells me that story. There it is. That's the reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.